this simply about Israel and Hamas war, or is this turning into perhaps a three-front war for Israel now to manage? Here's what's happening. Let me show you the map so you understand what the geography of this area is. There is a Gaza front, remember, where the Hamas is in control. The green strip that you see of 365 square kilometers is in control with Gaza, and that is where, to southern Israel, the terrorists had come. But now there is the northern Israel border where Lebanon is. From Lebanon, though backed by Iran, are the Hezbollah. The Hezbollah group has been firing toward Israel. And then there is the Syria border, also again of northern Israel. Shelling has been reported from this area, and therefore this could become for Israel three different borders to manage as the conflict starts to now escalate, specifically with regard to Lebanon. But about operatives of Hamas killed, according to Israel, what are the names of these individuals, of these commanders who have been killed in Israeli strikes? Ali Qadi is the commander of the Nukba force. Nukba, of course, has a reference to Israel as well. He, according to Israel military, has been killed. He was the commander of the force. Let's look at other names as well. We're also being told about Zakaria Abu Mameh. He was the head of Hamas's international relations. Remember, Hamas controls the ministries also in Gaza. So this again has come as a confirmation by Israel. All of them, according to Israel, has been killed in the military airstrikes. Bilal al-Qadra, commander of the Nukba force, again, third individual from the Nukba force who has been killed by Israel. There's also a security commander of Hamas. His name is Mu'taz, and his name has also been confirmed by Israel's military. What about those who are in control of the government? Gaza's economy minister, we are told, Jawad Abu Shimlaj, has been killed by Israel military in the strikes. There is also the aerial assault head, Merad Abu Merad, again of Hamas, and of the aerial assault head, who has also been killed. So these are some of the names that have surfaced in the past few days about the strikes that, according to Israel, is targeting specifically the terror hideouts. Amid all of this, where does the USA stand? It has expressed support to Israel, and now US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has returned to Israel 5 days since he visited Israel to talk about the way forward. After visiting Jordan, Bahrain, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia and Egypt, which means parts of the Middle East, Antony Blinken said everyone is determined to stop a spillover of the conflict between Israel and Hamas. Speaking at the Human Rights Campaign National Dinner, Joe Biden reiterated support backing Israel. Further said, while he believes Hamas must be eliminated entirely, there must be a path for a Palestinian state.
You cannot be silent. Silence is complicity. Silence is complicity. Folks, we're the United States of America, and there's nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So let's stand together and get everyone else on the deal.
What I've heard from virtually every partner was a determination, a shared view that we have to do everything possible to make sure this doesn't spread to other places. A shared view to safeguard innocent lives. A shared view to get assistance to Palestinians in Gaza who need it, and we're working very much on that.
Remember, amid all of this, spare a thought for the hostages, specifically children. There has been significant loss of life with the terror Hamas attack and also casualties in Gaza. But for now, hundreds of individuals found themselves as captives, as hostages. And I'm talking about not just women, children and elderly, but toddlers and infant babies also. Family members are seeking a support now from India also on this. Take a look at this report about the hostage crisis that's still looming large.
She called me hysterical, crying, very frightened, because and saying, "Rockets are falling on us now, Mommy." Then at 10:15 I got a phone call saying, "Mommy, I was shot." It's a phone call no mom should ever get.
And I don't know, hundreds, but it's every time change.
We call you, people of India and your government, to support Israel.
All the time she's talking to me and saying, "Mommy, I'm afraid. I think I'm going to die."
Remember, with this escalation that is currently on, and now not just between Israeli military and Hamas, but also Hezbollah in Lebanon. The Israeli military, meanwhile, remember, is going all out. And you can see that we're being told, even by Hamas now, that there is and Hezbollah, that one of the senior Israeli commanders has lost his life in the attack that has taken place. Israeli action, meanwhile, comes after Iran's proxy Hezbollah killed the top commander in southern Lebanon border. Hezbollah has released a video showing damage to Israeli thermal cameras and monitoring equipment. This is on the border. This is on the northern Israel border now. And they claim to have targeted earlier today in order to blind the Israel Defense Forces in northern part.
The 300,000 also includes forces that we've positioned in the north along the frontier with Lebanon in anticipation with the situation with Hezbollah. And as we see, we've had several attacks by Hezbollah across the border in the north with several anti-tank guided missiles fired at our forces. And I would like to say that the way we anticipate, the way we see is Hezbollah is currently trying to increase pressure at the will of Iran in order to undermine the efforts to destroy Hamas's capability in the Gaza Strip, and they're doing it in a way to escalate the situation on the border in order to challenge Israel and the IDF.
United Nations establishments have also been attacked, as it appears, in South Lebanon area. Ashraf Wani is on the ground. He's on the border between northern Israel and Lebanon. Here's the ground report that he sent us.
I am here in the southern Lebanon in the city of Ankura. We are on the outskirts of Ankura on the beach of this Mediterranean Sea. This behind me is the main headquarters of the United Nations here in Ankura, which was bombed yesterday late evening by the jet of Israel army. Luckily, the bomb fell outside the periphery of the UN headquarters and there was not any kind of damage reported from the UN base here. It is worth to mention that most of the UN peacekeepers in Lebanon are from India. There are also soldiers from Tanzania, from Sri Lanka, from Indonesia and other Asian countries. But the major chunk of these soldiers is from India, who are peacekeeping force here with the United Nations in Lebanon and currently deployed on different areas in southern border. We tried to get some kind of reaction from the UN officials here. They are not ready to speak, but this incident is being discussed all across the world, that if UN base is being targeted by the Israel, and what could be the condition of the people in the areas like Gaza and South Lebanon. So very reaction is coming from the Gulf countries after this bomb here in Ankura city of South Lebanon. Ashraf Wani for India Today in the Ankura.
Meanwhile, the Israeli forces have also tightened security on all borders now. Here's a ground report, again by India Today's Ashraf Wani, who's on the border. This, remember, is not about the Gaza Strip and Israel's border, but it's northern Israel and southern Lebanon's border.
I am in the Shuab area of the southern Lebanon, and this is the place which is the poorest border for the Israel, because you are seeing these mountains. These are part of the Palestine and controlled by Israel. In fact, these all areas are the part of Palestine, but on these mountains there is not the concrete wall what the Israel created in other parts of the of its country, particularly on the border with Lebanon here in South Lebanon. These mountains are free to enter into Israel because there is no any kind of surveillance, human surveillance on these. That is why you are listening these voices of the unarmed vehicles. Regularly during last 4 days, round the clock, these drones of the Israel are roaming here in this area to keep vigil by their cameras and the explosive equipped these drones. If they see any kind of activity by the Hezbollah in the area, they will drop the bomb on the particular spot, because these drones are being controlled on the other side of mountain by the Israeli army. During last 4 days, there is regular exchange of fire between rockets and missiles between Lebanon and the South Lebanon and the Israel. And from this front, Hezbollah is fighting, and in case of any war, there will be this front which will be first opted by Hezbollah to fight Israel. Ashraf Wani in Shab city of the South Lebanon on Lebanon-Israel border in Lebanon.